Metallian here with commentary on what is Game 4 of the No Holds Barred tournament from February 2018, hosted by Pocket Tanks Tips. We are essentially playing two best out of three series in this finals, and HolyHandGrenade won the first series 2-1. So the winner of this series wins the championship. This is Game 1 of the next series, or you could say Game 4. And this is a very interesting game. Really could not have gone any better for me. So there'll be a lot of interesting things that happen here. I'm going to start off with a pipeline. It's a good opening shot. I shot it behind him because that's where the flat ground was. And the hope is that he's in a very skinny hole after this. But he isn't. He's able to shoot out. He has a super magnet. Kind of doesn't quite get me, but it should excavate him from the hole, but it did not. You can't see it in this shot, but it did not pull him out of the hole. So he is still in that pipeline hole, and that is a terrible spot for him to be in. I have a lava, and it's going to hit big. So I'm in a great spot, 665 to nothing after the second volley. He uses a quicksand, which, you know, he probably needs to buy some time. He probably wants to approach. And, you know, it's much safer to approach an opponent if he's buried because he can't hit you with as many shots when you get near him. I have a flower power. I'm just going to use that, tack on some more points. And here is his approach. He puts himself right there. And, you know, in this spot, I'm vulnerable to many things from him, depending on what he wants to do. A cyclone would hurt me pretty bad here. There's a lot of things that could hurt me here, but he landed in a spot that gives me an opportunity to use a sonic blast in a way that you just don't usually get a chance to do this. Now, I'm pointing the sonic blast straight down, and if we come across, it's at about the midpoint of his tank. The end of my cannon is right about at the center of his tank. Now that is a great setup for a sonic blast. So you'll see here, I get a ton of points from it. Well over 200 points. He's going to retaliate with a lava cannon. Now it's time for me to get out of here. I'm too vulnerable there. I don't want to stay there. Yes, I'm up by 1,000 points or whatever, but it doesn't make any difference. You know, I've lost games where I was ahead by 800 points with 3 shots to go. So you shouldn't feel safe. Now, what happened here, I jumped close because I want to use my lead balloon. You know, when I broke out, I didn't go too far away for that reason. But it turns out he had a supernova. Glitches are allowed in this tournament. Proximity glitches are legal. So he used one. He didn't get a ton of points. It wasn't, you know, he didn't have the proper overlap. But he did get quite a bit from it. I'm going to come back, though, with my lead balloon right here. And that knocks him away, which is what I want. As an added benefit, it puts him into back in that hole he was in. He uses a whirlwind, trying to get me near him. Now, I'm just going to bury him. Yeah, he's obviously trying to do something at close range. I don't want to let him do it. He uses an elevator. But the nice thing about this, if you're at close range and your opponent uses an elevator, he is vulnerable to what I'm going to do next. So I roll here under him and hit him with a firework. So that nets me a good bit of points as well. He has a Scorcher. The reason he has a Scorcher is because he successfully used a Scorcher in an earlier match against me, because I had used a couple of elevators in that match, and Scorcher is a great counter to an elevator because it gets you whatever it gets you, 300 points or so. So back under dirt. Aqua Bomb's no good. I have a Cyclone. This just is the finishing touch. And he just, I was able to counter everything he was doing and at the same time maximize the points of the weapons that I had. And, it just worked out that way. Sometimes it does. So I won game 4, on to game 5.